And without further ado, ladies and gents, welcome to the Season 3 of the Rpdl. My name is Ben Lacen. I am your host and your producer for this event, and I'm joined by the lovely Autumn and Flair today as we break down this analysis that happened just last week and get right into the week one of the games. What's up, boys? How y'all doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, Jay, you're muted, bud.
Doing good.
There you go.
Much better.
Awesome. It's good to see you guys happy and healthy. We have a lot to cover today. There was 12 teams that were in this draft, all of them drafting within the course of what? How long was it, Cam?
2 days?
2 days? Was it 2 days?
I think it was like 2 days, something like that.
Felt like 3.
It felt like 3.
It definitely felt a little longer than usual. But, I mean, we're here. We're ready to do it. I mean, out of everything that went down in this draft, right, what is it about the league that you guys are looking forward to the most?
I think for me personally, I'm just really excited to see all the newcomers show their stuff and kind of just like get their feet wet into the draft league format, because I think it is the most fun way to play Pokemon. But I also want to see some of the experienced veterans kind of show how we run things around here.
There you go. That's what's up. So, I mean, speaking of, it's a pretty simple draft, really simple layout. I think it's good to just cover the house rules. There was a really nice long type up regarding everything that was going on. But in general, we're just going to be able to cover this because we don't want to waste too much time or talk about anything for way too long. So all you need to know is that this draft happened in 3 different phases. The first being the drafting phase. We have the seasonal round robin coming up, and that's what we're playing in right now. And then at the end, we have the playoffs and the post game. It's pretty simple. Snake style draft between 12 people, going from 1 to 12, then 12 to 1 on wheel picks. There are a bunch of Pokemon that are allocated a point value between 1 and 18, and we're given 120 points in order to draft all these Pokemon. They are all within the Paldea Pokédex, and they're priced according to how they performed in the season, and with a bunch of recommendations from Smogon and really popular leagues like the SPL, the PPL, so on and so forth. We were all given those points, we all drafted, and then we were given 15 more Terra points to take some of those Pokemon with the same point values and turn them into terrestrialized Pokemon. However, even though we can do any sort of Terra, we can't Terra anything that's past the point value of 10. And as the analysis goes on, we'll be able to talk about the things that were around 10 points or less. The draft order had nothing to do with anything. They were just kind of names picked out of a hat by Cam, right? And we kind of let things fly. During the postseason, this is going to be a best of 1. We have to all play each other at least once a week, and those matches can happen within any time of the week, and we'll be able to report those matches to you and also provide some live matches to you as we continue to stream these things weekly. Then in the postseason, that best of 1 turns to best of 3. The top 6 teams are going to qualify in, and those guys are going to be able to swap at least one Pokemon in between games of every single match until we make it to the top 2. Last team standing wins the whole shebang. We're doing this for no money. There's nothing but bragging rights, and we all just want to stop Logan, and that's pretty much all that's going on here. That's it.
There's no three-peat. There is no three-peat.
There's no three-peat. He's not getting it, right? And that's
it's up for you, bro.
It's
I
pretty
can
much
hear him.
12 people to make sure we can stop him, right? Lastly, we're going to be doing this by our X Factor. Our X Factor is determined after the rankings, or after the drafting, I mean. These rankings are just completely reflective on our opinion based on nothing. It's just our first impressions and whatever we value going into these drafts. We averaged out everybody's position and found out the average position across 10, because 2 of them didn't do it, but across 10 competitors, right? And we're going to be talking about the draft in that order. Now that all of that is out of the way, right? We can finally get onto the show, right? We're done talking.
Yes,
now we can just kind of go into the breakdown of some of these drafts. So, Cam, the lovely Cam, I know that you're here to start our analysis, and the first team that we are going to be talking about today is from a newcomer who joined, what, like 2 hours? Before the draft.
Yeah, I think it was about 2 hours before we decided to do something. We were like, let's get him in.
Let's do it. We're going to talk about JM13's Keystone, Klefkis, starting us off real strong. Where was he in the draft order? It was like 5. Draft order number 5, right? Picking up Darkrai round 1 into the Manaphy, Rotom Wash, then being supported by Deoxys Defense, Rhyperior as a Terra Captain, Klefki as the mascot, into Glimora, then Heatran, and then finally we have Blissey and Decidueye, which rounds out the entire draft. This is the first time this player has ever come into any sort of league, and it's the first time that this player has been playing Pokemon at all since Gen 7. Literally joined just for the FOMO. We have an X Factor rank of 12 with an average of 11.5 in the average ranking, so bottom of the barrel. But this competitor is a gamer who just recently won the Rivals of Aether Workshop competition at Riptide 2024. He's a national champion. Kind of insane, given that the Discord is super about that life, and we're always talking about Rivals of Aether. So, once I got my camera switched here, we can get right into it, Cam.
All right, well, first thing off the rip, we just have to address the elephant in the room. Someone's just going to have to take this backpack off of Glimora. This mon is carrying so much on this squad. Jordan overall has a very annoyingly fat defense strategy. Glimora and Darkrai offer very good special wall breaking potential. Excellent hazard setting in the form of, obviously, Glimora. Like I said, this mon is going to be carrying a lot on this squad. But he barely has any ways to remove them himself. Decidueye is his only defogger, and while Mortal Spin can remove hazards, Glimora has far too much on its plate to afford to be on hazard removal as well as special wall breaking, hazard setting, which he can do passively, to be fair. The team looks like it wants to slowly whittle down the opponent with switches and passive damage. Glimora is also the only Pokemon on this roster with a status move that can do this with Toxic. I'm telling you, it's Thanksgiving for this guy. Now, like we said, Jordan has gone on record saying that he has never done draft before, so this is still new to him. He picked his favorite Pokemon, and I gotta say, all things considered, he's still put together a very solid team. Some transactions could fix a couple of the holes that I saw. Personally, I see lack of power, lack of hazard removal, especially since he wants to pivot around and use his defense. I think he wants to have a little more ways to sustainably remove the hazards off of the side of the field. And then a little more status to complement the defense might help him out. But like I said, he's fat. He's got a lot of defense. He's not going down anytime soon. He's got good type coverage as well. Like, there's not really a lot of overlapping types from what I saw. And as far as the hazard stacking goes, just because Glimora can do it passively does not mean he doesn't have rockers. Rhyperior, for example, is a Terra Captain that can rock, and it can also rock the opponent.
It's scattered, but I do like it. Like you said, there's a lot of walls, especially ones that you're used to being slowed down by, and that's frustrating. Like, there's a Deoxys Defense, the Rotom Wash, a Rhyperior, Blissey, and even in some instances Heatran. But I do worry that since Glimora has the backpack on, I worry that Darkrai and Manaphy have to do the same. Manaphy is really good, but it has the unfortunate 100 base stat spread. It needs a Hella. It needs a turn, and there's a lot of things that will outspeed it, but if you can get it set up, it's going to be great. Same thing with Darkrai. It's fast, but it's frail.
And I do want to... sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. I was saying, no Terra to save it this season.
Yeah, I was actually about to bring up Terras because I think Decidueye and Rhyperior are excellent Terra Captain choices. Decidueye specifically is really hindered by that Grass Ghost typing sometimes. Yeah. And being able to switch that around, it can make that Pokemon kind of bulky.
It's not bad either. And they hit hard is the thing. Everything hits hard unboosted, but the thing is, sometimes it's not enough. But if everyone can do it and you can like position well, I think the draft will do just fine. He has the pieces for it.
Oh, for sure. And we can't ignore the Heatran.
Mm-hmm.
Given the nature of how Jordan is as a competitor in just gaming in general, what do you guys think he can take from those lessons within those other games and those fundamentals and put it into Pokemon? I mean, not playing since Gen 7 is kind of crazy. It's one reason why he's down so low on this ladder right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. Skill definitely is a large reasoning as to why the X factor for him was so low. But if I know anything about Jordan, he knows how to freaking adapt super fast.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see how many weeks it takes for him to start taking some names. It might not even take that long.
I don't think so. He's an extremely talented gamer, right? And that's just kind of how it is. There are some people who are within this draft who just game, and whenever they, because Cam, you're the longtime player, right? You're the owner of the league. You founded it. You brought it to the attention of the Rycord. So you take those guys who just kind of want to hang out with their friends, and they're able to pick up on things really, really quick, you know. And one of them has been with you since the inception of the league. There's nothing to sleep on when it comes down to our rank number 11 on the X Factor. This is his 3rd season coming into it. We're going to say what's up to the Hartford Wailords, presented by Enemy, who is one of those staples that are in the Rycord. Been there since, oh, Jesus, man, like what? Years now, right? He's
longer than me.
Yeah, real long time. He's been hanging out in the northeastern PA scene, doing his thing in Melee, and now he's trying to do his thing in season 3 here at X Factor rank number 11. He averaged out at 10.8, so 11 is just where he's sitting kind of pretty. Slowly improving. Season 1 finished in 6th place. Season 2 finished in 5th place at a 3-win, 5-loss record, and this time coming in with Raging Bolt, Excadrill, and Quaquavel. Pretty strong 3 into a Terran Hawlucha for 4th round pick. Picking up a late Superior, Hatterene, Hisuian Arcanine, Kyurem, and he apparently did it twice, which is kind of
That's illegal.
It's nuts. That's supposed to be Fortress, but it's okay. But and then realizing that he ran out of budget, he was way over budget. Picked up the 1-point Slowpoke, who is labeled as superior because honestly they're both just equally as good as each other. You know what I mean?
You just use Transform,
and that's just kind of how it is, right? And yeah, so Cam, what do you think?
Well, I like what Nick's doing with his speed. Hatterene offers Trick Room for the slower half of his team, namely Raging Bolt, to outspeed things that it normally couldn't. Nick has excellent wall breakers and sweepers, namely Kyurem. It can run up pretty much anything it wants to with some level of success. Like this mon can do anything. That's the reason why it just got banned from Scarlet Violet OU. Quaquavel is also a prime snowball Pokemon. A few Aqua Steps and picking up some kills means that this Pokemon can just kind of win games outright. Outside of Fortress, though, this team seems to be a little physically frail. Nothing a few screens or Intimidate can't really fix, especially on that Arcanine Hisui. But on the special side, Hatterene is doing a lot of heavy lifting here. It's really one of the only mons that has a special defense stat worth talking about. And it has Magic Bounce to provide immunity to status as well, so I see it coming a lot. Hawlucha is an interesting Terra choice, though. It allows it to have like any coverage type it wants after a Proxy Unburden. But Hawlucha sweeps are kind of inconsistent and they're pretty hard to pull off. Take it from me, I've tried. And if the Terra timing is wrong, you could not only lose your Mon, you could lose your option to Terra during the entire battle. So you have to play it carefully. Nick has low priority options for the draft too. For a team that's defensively lacking, you kind of want to have the jump on your opponent, and having a lot more priority moves kind of helps with that. Nick has 3. It's not something that he can't work around because the Mons hit hard. So if you don't count Upper Hand, he's only working with like Thunderclap on Raging Bolt, Extreme Speed on Arcanine, and I think Aqua Jet on Quaquavel. And now we got to talk about him. The Slowpoke.
Yeah.
The Terra Slowpoke. I don't know what this thing is doing, bro. I'll be real with you.
Honestly, at that rate,
Terra Superior is going to go stupid.
I mean, I would have just banked at the point, to be honest. Don't get me wrong, like, I love slow period, but I don't know. Sometimes you're going to need that extra trade in season. But, like, looking at the draft overall, it's a team that needs to play for position. And, I mean, every turn is going to count when you're going to try and commit to, like, the board state. He has the tank to do it. There's good support here. I really like Magic Bounce because, he has a lot of thinners, a lot of deflockers, but that's like, it's a little too passive to have to run that if you're trying to get your mon set up. Superior needs the contrary boost, Hawlucha, the unburden sets. Kyurem hits hard though. That's probably, yeah. Luckily, his single breaker is a monster, so he doesn't have to worry too much.
That breaker is gonna break something.
Oh my god, yeah. But I did notice there's no knockoff users on this team, so if there's a problematic item, I think he's gonna have to deal with it.
There are 2 knockoffs.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's a
and
Pokeball.
Superior. Superior does get it, which is interesting.
I didn't know.
I don't think it would run it too often because it kind of wants to, fit that breaker role a little more. But it is an option. It is there.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else do I have to say? Each time Nick drafts, it gets better and better, and this is no exception. This is easily like the best draft he's drafted so far. It has like a cohesive game plan, just like a couple of things that we can like improve upon in the future with a couple transactions, just like Jordan. His piloting skill also improves pretty much all the time as he plays. Like during like the latter half of the season, he was starting to go stupid. So I think this time around, he's gonna get himself some good dubs.
Oh yeah, he knows when to pull the trigger.
A little difficulty though, because with the difficulty comes this team, and it's not an easy team to pilot. There's not any, there's good stuff in the team that's scattered throughout, but all of it needs a little bit of setup. All of it needs a little bit of support. What do you guys think Nick's biggest challenge is when it comes down to piloting this team compared to the other seasons of the Rpdl in those drafts?
I think personally, it's really more so about experience, because Nick is the type of person where he could sit down and look at something and figure out the counterplay, but it's a matter of like actually putting it into practice. And once he gets the hang of it a little more, I really feel like he's going to start taking a lot of names.
I'd say the same thing. Like, especially since I played with him, like we started together in season 1 and then going through season 2 as well. Like he got better, and he got better fast too. Like I know that he spends a lot of time with like people with more experience as well, which is something like that's really good to do when you're new, just because Pokemon's hard. It gets confusing, and there's a lot of factors that like you don't necessarily think about. So when people have played this game for a long time, they just know. But I think he's starting to get it.
Pokemon is the game where you have 5 buttons to press, and they're always probably wrong.
But I mean, his team. I hope his team feels right. I mean, despite all that, I really wish the best for him. He's a talented gamer, once again, one of those guys, right? And I think he's going to get pretty far in the competition. And he'll be interesting to see. But I don't think many people are going to be as interesting as our next competitor, who's supposed to be here. He's a little busy, right? He was supposed to assist us in a lot of this analysis that's going on today, and I hope you're okay, buddy. I hope the family's good. Everything's fine, guys. I promise. It's not insane. But Breath of the Wild speedrunner, VGC player, who somehow has never played singles. Crazy that outside of the in-game stuff that's going on, he's a VGC competitor through and through for the last 10 years. Just did not really care much for anything that had to do with the singlescape at all. We are going to be talking about the Intimidating Demons debuting in the Rpdl, all being maneuvered by Gert, right? Starting us off strong with Alandis Therian and Volcarona Pick, my fucking MVP in season 2. Being supported by Ogerpon Wellspring, Vax Caliber, Scizor, Alola Ninetales, right? And then getting a Terra Captain in Florges, picking up a Blastoise, getting Jay's MVP, Kilowattrel, right? At least one of them.
Yep.
Right. He has 2 of your
Oh,
MVPs,
yeah.
actually, low-key.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah, he got both.
Yeah, and then finishing it out with the slush rushing Terra Captain in Beartic. This is one really interesting draft. This is one really interesting circumstance for a player. Jay, walk me through it. How do you feel about it, man?
Actually, I handled this one as well.
Oh, wow!
Oh yeah.
That's fine. Go ahead. Just talk.
All right, so
He's talking the top.
I'm actually super excited to talk about this one because I have drafted this exact core before. Volcarona and Ogerpon Wellspring. They're so cool together. I love this core. It's Fire, Water, Grass in 2 mons, and it's offensive as hell. Volcarona and Ogerpon Wellspring are they can just set up and clean house regardless of prep. And Gert brings some high power tiers to the draft environment as well outside of this. Vax Caliber and Lando T both have a colossal 145 base attack. That's insane. And one of them can't even get burned thanks to Thermal Exchange. And speaking about exchanging some thermals, Alola Ninetales brings Christmas early with the snow. And then you realize that it brought a freaking polar bear with it, with Beartic and Slush Rush, and it hasn't eaten in like 6 days. So this thing is hungry. It's gonna kill something. It can't be understated how physically strong this team is. But Power and Gas, from what it seems, is really the biggest team this thing has. Everything else is like lacking in a little whip. Like one rocker, one spiker. It means that some teams are not going to have issues with pivoting around Gert's power. 2 knockoff users and low status moves means Gert wants to get the ball running sooner rather than later, is what I was trying to find in my notes, but I got lost. Not all hope is lost in the defense department, though. We got to talk about Blastoise. This mod is the glue holding this team together, honestly. Its balance of offense and defense, sweeping potential, spinning, and bevy of coverage options makes this bulky water an almost mandatory bring every week. Yeah. I think this mon should have been a Terra Captain, honestly, if it was allowed to. But we bumped that up because it was too good. Now, Gert, like we said, never drafted before. And I think all things considered, he has walked away with a threatening first roster. He follows a plan that we all love and hold near and dear to our hearts. Outspeed and hit him really fucking hard. I have confidence that with his experience at VGC, he's going to shake up something.
I think so too. I think that he has an eye for utility that not a lot of other people have, and he's been able to kind of draft with that in mind. Once again, this team is only sitting in the X factor of 10 because of just the difficulty it is to be able to maneuver with this team. It's not so cookie cutter, but neither is he. So I think that he'll be able to pilot most of the things that we're going to be looking at pretty well. Although he has that hidden little snow core that you were talking about earlier, and I was pretty excited about that. Is there anything in the draft that you think it will match up well against, and anything it'll suffer against?
There is one in particular that I think it's going to suffer against. We have a Sunny Boy in this draft, and that sun is going to be making it so it never snows during Christmas, just like it always does in Northeast Pennsylvania. Yeah, we're going to be talking about that team in a little bit, though.
Yeah, it's nice to have weather control, though, especially because of that upcoming team in the league. That is a huge threat. But I do like this team a lot. Even the fact that he's coming from a doubles mindset, he was able to put together a singles team that plays singles well. And I don't think many people can say that for the first drafts. I'm glad that Blastoise can't be a Terra Captain, because any Terra Captain that can Shell Smash... Nope, I don't want to prep again. Well, he can be?
Yeah, he's 10 points.
He's 10?
Yeah,
Gert!
Hold it.
Change him to your Terra Captain week 2.
He opted for the Florges.
What are you doing with that Florges, bro? Change it!
No, but like, he got an X Factor ranking of what, 10, which I think is a little unfair. I think if we do one in the midseason and people play against his team and how he can pilot, I think it's going to go up in a matter of like, what, maybe 2 weeks at most.
Yeah, but I also think it's because like he also doesn't have singles experience, and I think that's really what brings it down like the charts a little bit. But that's just me.
Like I said, he's only going to keep getting better. That's the feeling I have for the team.
That he will. I mean, the only way is up, especially when you're starting from the bottom. You know, not being a singles player, not being recognized in this space, or not. You know, it's not very something that he's well versed in. I think he will improve, and it's only a matter of time. Speaking of which. Next person, surprise, surprise, guys, is a gamer. Another person who has only seen his way up since he joined the Discord. A lot of blessings have touched his life. He got really good at Rivals of Aether. He decided to stop Super Smash Brothers. He's now in Pokemon, and in that time, he's become a lovely father to a beautiful baby boy who is going to be the namesake of this team. We're going to be talking about the Jojo Beartics. So cute. We're going to be listing him on an X Factor ranking of number 9 with a 7.4 placement average, which means he came kind of close in that middle of the pack, which is extremely impressive considering the fact that he's never played Pokemon, he's never played League, right? And he somehow was able to grab this insane team. Let's actually break it down, right? We got Sneasler and Iron Crown being the first 2 picks, which are pretty awesome. and then going into Rillaboom, getting that little synergetic pair in, being supported by Clefable, and then also offering equal threats in Ursaluna, Cyclizar, Zapdos, getting a defensive mon in Vaporeon, which is top 10 killer of Season 2, right? Somehow, some way. Everybody was listening to Wish Protect Scald. That's crazy. I don't want to talk about it, right? Getting 2 Terra Captains in the end in Sableye and Arcanine. Actually, kind of disgusting, if you, all things considered.
Matt's too good at games, and that's no joke here. I took a look at this draft, and the first thing I thought of was that it reminds me of like a deck builder's toolkit in like card games, because it comes with a little bit of everything. It comes with an immediate combo threat, like you mentioned, with the Sneasler and Rillaboom combo, and even Sneasler on its own can sweep and get out of control. That mon is great. Really good utility backup in Sableye and Clefable. That's Prankster support. Clefable can run a multitude of frustrating sets, and Vaporeon is a great tank. This is just like a fundamentals team. You play the fundamentals well, and this team's gonna win. It even gets extreme speed and grassy glide and priority support, and that's decent coverage too. Cyclizar's the only spinner, but it's a fast spinner, and I know it can run some really scary sets. It's great with Assault Vest. I know that people have done like Rapid Spin, Temper Flare, a lot of fun to be had there. Ursaluna, only ground type. I'm not sure if it'll help the team as much though. It's slow, there's no Trick Room on the team, and I mean Guts Flame Orb is scary for sure, but it's slow and might be hard to get that mon going. I see the Sneasler Rillaboom as like the primary win condition, and overall, like, this is a sick draft. I know like this is Matt's first like competitive Pokemon format, but I think that he's going to become a threat really quickly with this one.
I also want to give a brief shout out to Arcanine Hisui, Arcanine Regular. Really excellent supportive Terra Captain. It has options like Will-O-Wisp. It's got Morning Sun for bulk. Being able to get rid of its fire type and then maybe going into like a grass type to get jump on waters seems pretty good to me. And then Sableye. Sableye is also a really good supportive Pokemon. It's a budget prankster option, and it has so many good status moves to spread around, like Will-O-Wisp, T-Wave, Taunt, Encore, to trap those setup mons, which, trust me, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. Better happen. But yeah, other than that, I mean, Season 2 was my Rillaboom Sneasler premiere, and I could safely say that that is a disgusting combination. It is really, really strong. So I am really excited to see what Matt can do with it.
Yeah, I didn't even mention the Iron Crown yet, because he also has Zapdos and Iron Crown, so it's only a matter. I mean, the typing is great for it. Like Iron Crown.
No, I hate going against it.
Yeah, I mean, it hits Calm Mind, and then you get nervous all of a sudden. You're like,
I sweat bullets with that thing. Like literal bullets.
But yeah, I mean, unfortunately, he is my week 1, so I'm really excited to see what he brings. I don't know. I don't want to lose. I'll just say it.
He learns super quickly, and he's going to be able to take all that knowledge and really put it out in the game. Plus, he is really close to our 2-time champion, Logan, who's won this thing twice now with an extremely high win rate, and I'm sure that he was able to coach him through the drafting process and get everything done the way he needed to. And I mean, we have one hell of a draft. It's something to behold. It's something to look at. I think it's awesome. But personally speaking, there's another draft that I found to be equally awesome, if not more awesome. If I'm being completely real with you, I rated it as top 3 drafts. We can get into that discussion as we talk about this one. A lot of people don't agree with me though. Maybe I see something. Maybe I'm completely blind. I don't know. But all I know is we cannot sleep. We cannot sleep on the Yawn Megas. We can't do that. Yawn Mega's coming in with being represented by Coach Rye. He's the namesake of the Discord. He's the reason why we're all here. We've all been to his house. I am in love with his couches. Those couches and I have a really good relationship. They've really treated me super well, you know what I mean, throughout the years, and I hope he never gets rid of them. In the last 2 seasons representing the Dunmore Dittos, he did not so hot. So he's out for blood right now. Our prior Little League champion is going to be piloting Great Tusk and Iron Moth, hopefully to the top. right? And he's being supported by Corviknight, Regieleki, and Iron Leaves as a Terra Captain. Underrated pick. This is one reason why I like this draft so much. And then also picking up the Galarian Weezing and Salamence to finish out a really nice DFS core. Getting Slowking and Pincurchin towards the end. And then low-tier picks in Grafaiai and Golurk, which are not so low-tier when one of them is can get rid of his weaknesses with Terra, and the other one is a surprisingly okay Prankster mod. So the floor is open to y'all to break down this draft because, like I said, I do think that this draft is one of the best in the league, but he is right now on the X Factor 8. X Factor.
He should be higher.
12.
He should be higher. And at first, I didn't believe you. When he was drafting, I got a little concerned because Great Tusk is great, but having it be a first pick made me nervous because the good mons were going fast. And I know that he's definitely gotten sniped on a couple of these picks, but even so, this is a strong draft. Everyone wants Corviknight. Like, I think I'm gonna be honest with you. Everyone wants to draft that mon. It's a great physical wall. He even got Slowking for the slow pivot and a Weezing Galar. Like, that's really good defensive trio. And there's a lot of different matchups this season. So the fact that he has an answer for almost everything is great. He has the fastest screens without Prankster in Regieleki. It gets screens, it gets explosion. It's linear, but it's good at what it does. So it's gonna help support this team great, especially with those screens. Great Tusk, he's got hazard control in all forms and the revenge killer. Like, I love this thing. I got to play with it last season, and even without booster energy, like this mon, like Assault Vest is great. A lot of versatile options. And the Iron Moth, which I know is so good. I know that mon has been an MVP,
I hate this
bro.
thing.
It's so good.
I hate this thing.
It's
I love
so
it
good.
so much.
Oh my god. It's so good. That thing behind screens, one fiery dance. Shake my hand. It might be it. And I don't want to like overshadow the other two. Like Grafaiai, it's not the most popular pick, but it does get Prankster. It gets Unburden and Poison Touch. So those are three abilities that I did not think would be so relevant, but it can catch you off
Those
guard.
are good abilities.
Yeah.
That thing is I don't know. I don't think it's great, but it's definitely a little slept on. I think that thing is pretty good. You did mention that you were a little bit surprised at some of the or at least my opinion of his draft. Outside of it, outside of the initial surprise, what other little pockets can you see in that draft? Because I see a lot of cute little pairs in this draft.
Yeah, I mean, the Pincurchin, we all know the electric train's there, and it's there for a good reason. It's going to make Iron Lead really relevant, and it's going to make Regieleki even faster, even stronger. And last, and certainly not the least, Iron Moth. It gives it flexibility. That's an additional item, plus the initial boost that you want, which, yeah, I'm not sure I love that. I don't want to prep against it. I don't want to play against it. And it should have been top 3 in the X Factor.
So good.
And there's
it's a great X Factor. Like it's such a good team. You have to consider that he's out for blood, right? Like I don't think the competitive nature that Rai carries is going to necessarily allow himself to just sit in last of the draft again, right?
No.
Season 2 he sat in last place. I think his record called for a 1-6 record or something like that. It was not hot, and we all know that he's better than that. We all know that he wants to show that he's better than that. That said, Cam, what do you think about his mental with all that in mind going into the league, and how that's going to like reflect on his play? Because we know about this guy, right?
Oh yeah, I've been around this guy a lot longer than I care to admit. I'm just kidding, bro. I love you. But no, right? When it comes to these types of games, this dude locks in, and he will think of every possible scenario that he could feasibly come across and prep for it. He will. And he's usually right with what the opponent wants to bring. He knows what he's doing. It's just a matter of not accounting for some things that aren't necessarily like known. Because for those of you who don't know, Rai was a top 5 Little Cup player in Black and White. This dude knows how to play Mons. He's good. It's just draft is also a pretty fresh concept to him. So I think once he's starting to get that down, because this draft is freaking disgusting. You are correct. Once he gets this drafting thing down, I have a funny feeling we're going to be seeing him in future seasons in top 3 spots guaranteed.
It's going to be easy. I mean, with a draft like his, it's so terrifying, and we haven't even touched on the potential of Pokemon like Salamence alone. You know,
I was going to bring him up because that mon is disgusting.
Like not to blow him too hard, but like he did a really good job at mitigating and kind of containing the really expensive mons, and then bringing in really well-rounded middle of the pack, like, I'm not gonna say budget, but like cheaper mons. You know, it's like the great values of those 18, 17 pointers, supplying with the 14, 15 pointers. I mean, Regieleki, I feel like, is a little overvalued in this draft at 16 points, but he has 14-point mon in Salamence, 13 in Slowking, which is crazy. I think Slowking is a really good bulky water for his team, right? 12 in Corviknight, and then these lower tier picks in 9 in Galarian Weezing, 8 in Iron Leaves, which is awesome. It's a
Oh my
great
god.
8 points, you know. I don't know. I could talk about this guy's draft because my personal ranking when I did them, I ranked him super high. It's one hell of a draft. But I mean, not the only one, right? Another good draft player coming up right now in our number 7 spot. We never want to admit it though. We don't want to admit that this guy's kind of good. He's been within the communities and in our spaces that we've been around and kind of floating around. He has a really interesting mental, and I think it being justified in his league play is kind of the stuff of nightmares that we never wanted. But despite the terrible intro that I'm giving him, we love him. We're happy he's here. We're going to give it up to Riften and the Santa Fe Slowkings, taking our number 7 spot on the X Factor with a 6.3 average, which means he's right around that cuff, right? Getting 3rd place in the last season of the Rpdl with 4 wins and 2 losses, and interestingly enough, 3 forfeits. 3 forfeits. 2 of them being his own because of, you know, whatever reason he needed to forfeit. Starting off the draft strong with Meowscarada and Terapagos, scary. Then sniping me, you bitch, with Hisuian Samurott, right? Pecharunt following up, then getting his 2 captains, which, in my opinion, are 2 of the scariest Terry captains in this entire format this time around, in Jolteon and Gyarados. Then picking up support in Weezing, a really late 18-point Garchomp pick, which is crazy. Yeah. Sticking a little familiar in the roots with Alomomola, making a return to his team. And then finally ending it with Tinkaton and the Spirit pick in Quilladin, I suppose. Not sure what's going on with that one, but here we are. What do you guys think of this really solid draft?
So one thing I have to mention is Riften is a very consistent person, and his team reflects that so well. Meowscarada and Garchomp form an excellent offensive core. Meowscarada's power and speed combined with Chomp's natural bulk and offensive setup potential is just like spells doom for some teams. Terapagos and Pecharunt take both sides of the offensive spectrum, especially Pecharunt with that gargantuan base defense stat. I think it's like 160. It's crazy. I think Tinkaton is actually a rather underexplored draft Pokemon, arguably the best defensive typing in Steel Fairy. It kind of offsets that mediocre stat spread that it has. And the support pool is actually pretty good. It's got Encore, Knockoff, Thunder Wave, Screens, Rocks. It could do a lot. I would not count this Pokemon out. It is kind of lit.
Okay.
This team is kind of interestingly that was a weird way to say that. Interestingly positioned towards electric moves. I personally don't like it that much. Innately, he has 2 really critical weaknesses to electric, like Gyarados and Alomomola. But Gyarados is a Terra Captain, which mitigates that. Like I said, he's consistent. He knows what he's doing. I think Riften will have to play smart into fast electric types with coverage. Because if they're there to threaten them and force Gyarados to Terra, then if they get hit with a coverage move that they're packing, you know, it's got to be careful. And then, I mean, I mean, I got to talk about him, I guess. Quilladin's interesting. Eviolate makes him surprisingly tanky,
What?
but he's kind of relegated to a hazard setter. Yeah. Surprisingly, Eviolate Quilladin does not do that bad on the defensive.
What is that?
It is a Eviolate. I'm sorry.
Bro.
Yo, hop off.
Come on.
Fuck.
Listen, man, that's the first time I heard Violate, alright?
What is Eviolate?
Eviolate, my bad.
You violated that.
Yeah, I'm about to violate this.
I bet you
Never mind. Bulletproof is nice to check certain drafted Pokemon that are relying on Shadow Ball. Cough, Golden Go, Cough. Sludge Bombs, all those like type of ball bomb moves. Quilladin kind of just comes in on those for free. I'm a Chestnut user, so I kind of know how that works. But if the Pokemon's item gets like removed or whatever, it's just like I don't even know what this thing does at that point. What is it gonna do? Like hit some Leech Seeds? And being forced into a Violite means that hazards are just gonna kind of chip you more. Like you're not really allowed to run boots or anything like that. But overall, I think he has a well-rounded strategy, and he just has to be wary of a few things. But Riften knows what moves to click.
Yeah, and it premieres some draft hard hitters that like I've been against and I do not want to again. Like especially that Jolteon. Terra Jolteon might be one of the best Terra Pokemon in the format. Like legitimately. It's so fast, it's strong. Volt Absorb is gonna patch up that electric weakness because it always has a free switch into it. I had someone run Quick Feet against me when I set up Sticky Webs. Like this man is it's a menace. It it does so much damage. He has Pekarunt. I hate Pekarunt. I don't like that. I know you love Pekarunt, Kim. Oh my god.
I love Pekarunt.
Poison Puppeteer and Malignant Chain. It's a lot. It's a lot to have to deal with. The Garchomp late pick. I think Garchomp got left alone because I think people had undervalued it compared to everything else. But it fits pretty nicely on Riften's team. He has really, really good defensive walls, which means he's gonna play for position and he has really strong fundamentals. Like he will switch you around and he's never gonna take space unless he knows he can take it. And he's got all the tools to do so. Yeah, it's a good draft.
It's just a good draft.
It makes me wish I had gotten some of those mons, just because like the Alomomola for healing, like Wish. Is that the Wish Passer?
It is a Wish Passer, yeah.
Yep. So these already bulky walls are just gonna get healed back. Yeah, you better have a plan for this team.
It's a good team, and it's a good draft. However, there are a lot of good drafts. Is there anything that he has to watch out for? I'm pretty sure when he went into Season 2, he wasn't expecting a wins, or losses, I mean, over both Logan and Sweshi. What should he look out for this time?
I think he needs to just take a risk every now and then. I think risk factor in play is kind of important, and I'm learning that to this day. Like it's hard to play safe all the time. It's really, really hard to be in optimal position all the time because your opponent is probably thinking the same kind of things that you are. So you just have to like kind of put your opponent on a different thing and be like, okay, if you think I'm gonna like stay in on you, well, guess what? I'm gonna hit you for it. Like just shit like that.
That's fair. All of that is fair. I think that he has something to prove for sure, and I think he'll be able to prove it. I think he's a talented player. I think he's going to be doing pretty good, and I like how much challenge he brings to the table. Nobody wants to lose to him, and that's a good thing for all of us. You know, it's good to have a one of those little memers that's kind of involved in everything. Speaking of memers, one of my favorite memers in the entire world is our number 6, and our number 6 is kind of here to play. Let's give it up to the. Oh, also have to mention this before I do this little transition. One of the best draft team names I've ever heard in my life. There's a lot of draft team names out there. This he's not even like funny, you know. He's not even like charming. He's not even like an interesting guy, honestly. But like this. It's a personality pick. This is give it a one. This is a good one to Autumn, our very own Autumn, and the Soul Silvers. Fucking such a good name. Getting 5th place in the first season, 8th place in the second season. with
Ooh,
a
yeah.
1 win and 6 loss record and a 1 forfeit. That's my bad. I'm sorry. Right. Then also in our X rank, despite all that, he is sitting at number 6 with a 6.1 placement average. Right. First getting Deoxys Speed, then opting into Urshifu Single, which is insane. Getting Galarian Slowking and Iron Bundle to boot. Then also being supported by Cinder Ace, Sylveon. Ooh, I'm so bad at this Pokemon name. Sinistcha.
Yeah, that's possible.
Archaludon, Alolan Sandslash as the Terra, and Earthworm as the Terra. We would like him to explore everything that's going on and to explain it, but Cam, that's your draft, so bring us into Seoul, Korea for a second, and what do we find on those streets?
So this 30-year-old's team.
Oh.
No, okay. So
Wait,
while
I
this,
didn't hear you. What is it?
What was
Say it
it?
again?
I said, so this 30-year-old's team.
This what?
30-year-old.
30?
30.
30?
30.
This guy's
Oh, shit.
30?
He's 30.
And he's playing Pokemon?
All right.
Oh no, this motherfucker.
Doesn't
No.
he
While this draft has heat, like Cinderace and Sinistcha, get it? Rpdl better pack some warm clothes because Jay's bringing the snow too. I love offensive Iron Bundle and the Alolan Sandslash synergy. Both will work well under the fact that Galar Slowking is chilly reception viable and sets that snow for him. So it's a pivoting option, sets the snow, and it turns on Slush Rush for that Alolan Sandslash. I love it. It's a great synergy. But besides the snow strat, Jay has enough speed and momentum to shift almost any situation into his favor. Cinderace and Iron Bundle pivot into each other and immediately be threatening. You don't have to set up with them. You don't have to do anything. They are there, they hit a button, and they do damage. Jay's physical defense is also really good. Half the roster could take a beating. Terra Earthworm is a cool choice for Terra because it's got a huge defense, access to Iron Defense Body Press. You could Terra fighting that thing, and it just, like, I mean, I would say it becomes like a steel brick, but, like, let's be real, it's fighting type. It's not, you know. However, I can't ignore his fighting weakness. Urshifu, Iron Bundle, Archaludon, base forms of 2 of his Terra captains, they shudder in the face of high-power physical fighting type attacks. Low special defense numbers outside of Sylveon and Galar Slowking as well. It means that something is putting on a North Face vest, or these switches are, like, just, like, predictable as hell. But Jay's game plan is simple and effective. Speed and power. Wasn't planning on taking a lot of hits anyway. Jay's piloting ability only gets better with time. And believe me, I've been drafting with this guy for 3 seasons now, and even some prior to that. I'm excited to see what he brings to this table.
So am I. He's a good player. And he had a really hard time last season trying to keep it afloat with this rain team that he had. It's kind of difficult to dedicate yourself to any sort of draft when it comes down to the Weathermons, unless it's drafted really well, and he fell a little short-sighted from that, and that's totally okay. Although, Jay, since this is your team, what excites you the most about your draft? Talk us through, like, you know, why you decided to pick these guys up instead of repeating the bullshit that you had last season.
To be fair, because you're right, rain's hard. And this time I want to do the draft justice. I want to kind of build something that I know will work. I know, and not as easy to prep against, because with weather, I think it was really, I wouldn't say easy, but it was, you know, my game plan was way too linear. So I wanted a team that could have flexible roles, and with a lot of speed control, so that I can kind of brute force my way through certain hurdles that most mons can't. Like Iron Bundle, I'm expecting to get damage, or something's going to switch out. Deoxys Speed, I mean, outside of Regieleki and Prankster, it's going to go first. Maybe for some Scarves. Yeah, but that tier is hard to beat. And I love the slow pivots. Like having a fast and a slow pivot, maintaining momentum. Like, it's a lot of these things I didn't know were factors playing Pokemon at the start, but I want a team that can do it. And playing for position, like getting the Urshifu single out, like that's usually going to be the game plan for me. Otherwise, that mon leaves.
Well, it's a good draft. I wish you the best. I mean, this is a lot scarier than your last draft, and I didn't play your last draft. I forfeited, but
You're scared.
No. Maybe if just kill
Right in.
Maybe a Kilowattrel. I was seeing what that thing was doing last season. I definitely like shuddered in my boots a little bit.
Put up some numbers.
Yeah, I don't know why. That was just a little too crazy. Jay, is there anything that like you're afraid of? I know that we just pointed out like a giant fighting weakness, but is there like a thing or a player? Is it maybe Mr. Two Time? Maybe Mr. New Dad? Maybe Mr. Big Nose?
Honestly, it's probably Rye,
Yeah, Big Nose.
and especially because I don't want to lose to him. That's a big one. Everyone is so competitive in this group, so no one wants to lose to anybody. But I really don't want to lose to Rye. But he has a good draft. That fighting weakness is gonna hurt, but I don't know. It's early. Transactions can be made, and I'm just excited to try out the first week.
I'm excited for you to show off what you can do. I think it's going to be a really good time. I think you're getting better at the game ever so quickly. And I don't know. I'm just excited to see you play this thing. I really like your drafts. I really like the speed tiers. I really like a lot of the things that are going on in it. I don't like Earthworm. I don't know why you have it.
It's a gimmick, but it works.
Yeah, but you're a gimmick, so it makes sense, right? So, speaking of gimmicks,
Shots fired so early.
our number 6 or 5. We're at 5, right? We're officially in the top 5 territory, guys. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Oh yeah.
We're all here. The next few competitors have what the league in its entirety thinks are some of the most solid drafts, and we're gonna get into like a little bit heavier analysis. I guess a little bit more rapid fire though, for the sake of time. And Jay, you're going to be leading us off with that. Right now, we're going to be talking about another yours truly. I give it up for the Sacoma Slithering, getting into our number 5 draft pick here. Our X Factor 5 sitting with an average of 6.1. So like I said, between 5 and 7, those were like the middle packs of the draft. So it was kind of difficult to really dial into what was going in. Our founder and owner and runner of the Rpdl got 4th in his first season, 6th in his second season with a 2-win, 5-loss, and 1 forfeit record. But this time bringing in Latios and Tornadus Therian, some of the most solid picks in all of draft format. Being supported by Iron Hands and Surulege, who are 2 of some of the coolest looking Pokemon in the entire format. Also getting Mienshao, a personal favorite of mine. Claude Sire making his debut in this team, which is pretty sick. Inteleon and a Terra Captain in Arboliva. Finishing the draft with Toxapex, a Terra pick in Chinchino, and the personality Pokemon for Cam, the Cryogonal. Jay, what do you see in this team?
The very first thing that I see is he's running the triple regenerator threat, which means there are 3 Mons that get a free chunk of health every time they swap out, and they're relevant. And that's the problem. They're relevant. You have, oh my god, top tier picks in Latios and Tornadus T. Oh my god, Tornadus T is so good. Excellent first pick there. You have really good Terra Captains in our Arboliva and Chichino. Both are so good. I think Arboliva is very slept on as a Terra Captain. And honestly, it was Logan the one that told me about it. It is a solid special attack. Assault Vest sets are great on it. It gets the Seed Sword ability, so extra healing, low damage on the Earthquakes. Like, it's great. Chichino, Technician, loaded dice, and it goes. That's what I say. Cloudsire. I do love Cloudsire. Unaware. You have the Water Absorb. So far, no one's got the Urshifu Rapid, so it's pretty much going to absorb Hydro Steam. But Toxapex, really good defensive core here. Really, really good. Oh my god.
Get him off the screen, man.
The 2 offensive pairs you got in Inteleon and Mienshao, I think they're going to play the roles well. I've seen Sniper Shot and Inteleon break through defenses just because, hey, you can do whatever you want, but crit's going to do a lot of damage. Mienshao has excellent coverage. Only thing that worries me about that is it's an accurate coverage. So if the RNG gods aren't in your favor, it may not be as consistent. Surulege, sick Mon, and when it's positioned well, I've seen it sweep entire teams. So I know you're going to use it and use it well. So I'm hyped for that. And you have a spinner, and it's fast, so hazards won't be that big of a problem for you. I hate it. I hate it. I don't like your triple regenerator. That's it. You know, it soaks up hazard damage. It buys you turns. It's really good.
It's good.
And yeah,
it's good. I will say that you have are probably one of the most proactive members in all of draft right now. You spend a lot of your time not just kind of like running this league, but you're also an active participant in a bunch of other leagues. And I think it's, it goes to say that, it's interesting to see you passively do these other leagues and then come into your own where we're all exposed to you and you're way better than you were the last week. You know what I mean? That said, season wasn't too hot last season. What do you hope to take into this draft that you couldn't take into the last one?
Honestly, with this draft, it was more like I was kind of experimenting with a couple of things I haven't really tried out yet. Like, I never drafted a regenerator core before, and I am in other leagues kind of known as the lame-ass defense guy. So I decided to lean into that for a little bit and get Torrenty Toxapex. I can't wait to miss every high jump kick I throw out with that Mien Shop. I can't wait. It's going to be so fun. Ceruledge is a Pokemon I've always wanted to draft, and me being the Mega Man Battle Network stan that I am, the design speaks to me like straight up, and I can't wait to slice people with it. I can't wait to use Ceruledge. It's going to be so fun.
Yeah, run the shiny form.
Oh, you mean the one with like different eyes?
Yeah, the one eye.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be great.
Well, I'm excited to see you perform. I know that you're really into this, and I know you're really invested in it. I mean, it goes to show in a lot of ways. Another person who's super invested in this draft is also trying to get this championship because it's been snubbed from him twice. By the same fucking person, which we haven't really even talked about yet. But the next person, all the way from the islands, at least he's trying to convince us as such, right, is Sweshi and the Puerto Rican Palafins. Sweshi, no slouch to competition, being prior Philadelphia Power Ranking in Super Smash Bros. For Ultimate and being a top representative in the world for his character, is invading this Discord with his press second playstyle. And we're going to break that down as we break down the Palafin and Iron Treads picks. Also being supported by Thunderous Therian and Iron Boulder, which I'm excited about. Right? Picking up a Terra Captain in Shaman, which is always scary to see. Also having Rotom Heat and Screamtail. Getting into lower tier picks in Umbreon, a Terra Captain Masquerain, and then finally rounding it out with Primarina and Duraludon. An insane draft. Definitely top 5 already. And also not surprising for the semifinalists in both seasons of this thing so far. Now we're going into season 3, and what are we looking forward to seeing?
Well, you look at this team, and then you look at Sweshi. Then you look at this team, and then you look at Sweshi again. And then you nod your head, and you're like, yep, this checks out. This draft is fucking disgusting. It's so good.
Just like Sweshi.
Sweshi is just one of the most intricate preppers I think I've ever, personally encountered. He has some of the theory of draft that I just, to this day, I still can't think of stuff like that. And I've been playing this game for a really long time. Granted, I'm ass, but, whatever. This team is disgusting, like I said. Thunderous Therian plays right-hand man to the start of the show, Palafin. Taking all of its type disadvantages, you press flip turn, and suddenly you have a Mon that can take everything for it. It's great. Sweshi's support line is also very interesting. You have Screamtail and Umbreon, which can both pass Wish, and that's kind of valuable for the rest of his team to stay healthy. And then Duraludon forms the physical core of this with Eviolite.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Terra. Then you also notice that 6 of his Mons have... Shut up. 6 of his Mons have over base 100 speed. It's fast, too. He just covered everything so well, except one thing. He has one spinner. Granted, it's Treads. It's one spinner. It's going to have to come in and do something because, you have Rotom Heat, which is relegated to heavy-duty boots. You have Screamtail that wants to pivot in on everything. You're gonna want a U-turn. You're gonna want a flip turn, and you're gonna want a Volt Switch. You kind of want to get rid of those rocks. That's just me anyway. But other than that, there's also the first of these two that were drafted, Masquerain as the Sticky Web setter. And I think Sticky Web helps this draft so much.
Definitely does.
Oh my god, it helps with his speed curve even more than it already does. It just makes summons just it's handshake. Like it's so nice. Other than that, I mean, Sweshi just like is like he is the guy that knows what to press, just like Riften, but like he's one that kind of does take a little more risks. So I'm really excited to watch him play.
We all are.
It's a good draft.
Yeah, we all are.
It's
a good draft.
what frustrates me so much about it is that he finally got the Palafin for the team namesake, and I know he's gonna get so many kills. The fact that they pointed out that Masquerain has sticky webs, it's not the best web setter, but it doesn't need to be. As soon as it gives support for Palafin, the Iron Boulder, it's going to be a problem. I know that he's actually recommended Iron Boulder to me in another draft, so I know that he wants to experiment with it. So it's probably just come in and break through things. Screamtail, great defensive support. I've never really seen a Shaman in action though, so I'm excited. Especially as a Terra captain, I want to see what it can do.
Terra Shaman is absolutely broken. And I'm very upset that I didn't catch it sooner because this thing is going to tear up the league.
Yeah, I think it's at what? It's one of the 10 pointers, right?
Yeah, I think it's either 10 or 9, something like that.
It's bottom of the list for me, but like I mean, even Primarina as well, such a good mod to have. So effective. The Self-Defense Primarina, especially like it effectively gives you a tank and a special attacker all in one mon with great typing. It's like cost and roll compression. I don't know.
The more I look at Primarina every time I like go into a new season, the more I'm like, wow, this Pokemon is actually like really good.
Yeah, it's one of them. Like I want it next season. That's
like, I want to try it out at some point too.
Whoever gets to it first.
Well, you know, I kind of take care of that draft order.
Swear to God, if you put yourself at 1. All right.
Well, I mean, above all else, right, there's also another little hot take that goes into the draft of the Puerto Rican Palafins. That's not anything to do with the Pokemon. It has to do with Sweshi himself. Both of your competitors, right? Tell the people who don't know about this guy, right, about Sweshi and why we all don't want to lose to him.
He's a goof.
Yeah.
He's so goofy, which is why we love him. But when we're trying to compete in something and I have to go up against Class Clown, I want to beat Class Clown's ass.
But he's good.
But he is really good.
Yeah. And he improves very quickly. The thing is, like, when Sweshi gives a shit about something, he gets good at it pretty quickly. And it's, you know, it's a war of conflated egos in here. No one wants to lose. And, like, it's specific reasons for everyone, but especially, I don't know. It started in Rivals. When you beat someone for a while and they start beating you back, it's not a good feeling.
Yeah.
Gotta keep that ego. Yeah, gotta keep that ego in check.
Well, hopefully we all are able to do such. Requires a lot of composure in order to play this guy. I mean, he does this little bit where he speaks super fast, and I just wish he played as fast as he can talk, because then I think I'd have more fun playing with him. You know.
God.
But you do what you do to win, and he wins a lot, so no hate here. He's extremely talented. I'm not looking forward to playing against this draft. There's a lot of threats in this draft that I don't want to go up against ever in any draft. They're just all so annoying. And he's going to do some awesome stuff. I can't wait to see some of the creativity. But as soon as we're done talking about the semifinalist, number 3, honestly, I feel like most people surprised when you hear about this. Our 2-time champion, who has only lost across 2 seasons, 2 games, right, is ranked at number 3 in terms of draft in this X Factor ranking. We're going to be talking about Mr. 2-time himself, Luck, and the now named Fight Area Falinks. Let's get into this discussion where, like I said, rank number 3. Draft order number 1, and the first pick of the entire draft being Gouging Fire, right? Now, he waited 23 Pokemon later, and somehow was also able to nab one of the best supporting Pokemon for Gouging Fire, in Greninja, and then went on to pick on Komodo and Grimmsnarl, who makes a return to his team. Getting a Terra Captain in round 5 of his draft in Regidrago, then picking up Metagross, Mandibuzz, and Ogerpon, right? Crazy. And then finishing off the draft with Galvantula, a Terra Captain and mascot of his team, Falinks, and another Terra Captain, our 3 Terra Captain team, right, in Sandslash. Now, when we're analyzing this, he's ranked number 3. In the personal draft picks, he put himself at number 12, not out of humility, but because he wants to gaslight all of us into believing that this is a bad draft.
And if you know Luck, you know that is just on brand.
This is
He's downplaying right now.
He's in the chat right now saying the same thing.
And he is just so good, not only at Pokemon, but being the most annoying person I've ever met in my life. All right, so let's break down this draft. Tell us why it's so annoying.
So we all know that correlation is not causation, but I think he's going to try and win for a 3rd time with his team.
I think
He did the round. Yeah, the round 1 gouging fire is terrifying. It's going to dance all over you. It's going to make you feel bad. It can run so many good sets. It gets Morning Sun to heal. He somehow managed to get Ogerpon Teal Mask, which is the only Ogerpon with item flexibility. And Defiant isn't a bad ability either. It's supportive, it's offensive, gives him a great pivot. Greninja. You got Greninja, what'd you say, 7 rounds later?
Nah, he was number 1 in the draft.
He was number 1 in the draft, so it went
had to
all
go
the way back.
rotation
Went all the way back, and he still got
We gave
Greninja.
him Greninja, and it's like, what?
22 picks later?
Did we give him Greninja, or is he good at chopping?
No, we definitely gave him Greninja.
I'm not trying to glaze Logan too
We're
much, but listen.
glazing. That's
But-
crazy.
Dude, but look at his picks. You see the Greninja, Ogerpon, the gouging fire. Galvantula is, I think, the best web setter outside of Rabombi. I say so because of the compound dice focus sash thing. Sticky webs and a thunder, that's pretty good. Komo-O, super dangerous, and it's only more dangerous because he has a Grimmstone support, which has been the backbone support for his teams every season. That thing sets up screens, it parting shots, annoying ass Spirit Break, Prankster, it does a lot, and it's good at what it does. He managed to grab Mandibuzz and Metagross on the defensive side, Mandibuzz being a defogger, so helps with the hazards, and Metagross is just a really nice physical wall. Probably one of the better steel types out there. And he's not going to want rocks in the way for Greninja and Gouging Fire, just because Greninja, it's good, it's just frail. And Gouging Fire does not want to take rocks damage, it wants to dance. So, oh, I'm sorry, I almost forgot. He sniped my Regidrago, it was 9 points, it can Terra. Are you sure? Are we sure we want to let's think Terra? It's...
Yeah, dude, it'll be fun.
Break it down.
Yeah, just patch up the only weakness it has, you know.
Why is this Pokemon such a terrifying Terra? Like, let's break it down.
It's a really, really good Terra option.
Base 200 HP.
With
It's gonna
200
take...
HP.
Oh...
Dragon Energy is just a crazy move. Also, just removing its 4 times Fairy weakness is nice because it. Or I'm sorry, no, it's just pure Dragon, not Dark Dragon. I'm stupid. Regardless, getting rid of the Fairy weakness is nice, but it also gets a nice amount of coverage moves from what I can remember.
I think with the Terra option, I think it just gets all coverage. Like, I don't think there is a switch in that can.
Oh, that's true.
Great, and it's gonna be able to tank the hit, so you better prep for Regidrago Terra, even if Logan says it's bad, because it's not bad.
And let's not forget about the mascot, Terra Falinks. Yeah, Falinks.
I don't know how to say it.
I think it is Falinks.
Yeah, okay.
Greek play on words. No retreat into Terra sounds, well, it sounds like you're not retreating because you're dead. So I think that is going to be putting in a lot of work. Falinks has a pretty decent attack stat, and no retreat is an omni boost and just makes it so he can't switch out. Well, he wasn't planning on it anyway. He's set up. So we'll see what the Falinks, I'm never gonna get that right. We're gonna see what the Falinks has to offer in the season.
I have a feeling that he's gonna meme someone with it, and they're gonna be.
I have
really
a feeling
upset.
that it's gonna be.
Oh my, yeah. Oh, you have a feelings. But I mean,
Falinks
yeah.
pick is really cool. I think a lot of his picks are really, really cool. he has a surprising amount of dragons, which is like kind of a no-no in my brain when it came to like older drafts. But I mean, he really compensated for it, and Terra compensates for those kinds of picks, so you can reach into those pockets, which he did, and I'm grateful for it. He is an incredible competitor. I don't like to admit it, but if we're being formal and nice right now, he's, you know, you could play Logan. Like you could play the game. I'll say it. You're solid.
He's calm. That's
What?
it's frustrating. He's calm.
Yeah.
He makes good decisions, and
he has the mentality. That's kind of the name of the game here, right? But it's not the only game that we can play with him. What do we have to do against him in order to really slow down this terrifying team and the terrifying player that is Luck?
So, the one thing I noticed about his team just now is he has one steel type and no poison, which means toxic spikes, as long as he doesn't have a way to get rid of them, are going to be poisoning something and dealing that chip damage. And it just seems like it's a pretty consistent way to whittle down some of the offensive threats he has. There is Mandibuzz that you have to worry about if you're trying to do hazard stacking stuff. And of course, Metagross can come in on toxic spikes for free, but it's still a pretty decent option nonetheless. And then outside of that, his special defenses aren't really like all that. So, like I said, North Face vests are probably coming out for the season.
yeah, I mean, he also has a Grimmsnarl. He's probably going to be able to mitigate that weakness with the screens and set up his game plan anyway. I do have a hard time finding a clear weakness to the draft. Like, he can't cover for everything. I don't think any draft can do that unless everyone else has kind of given up on how to pick. But the stacking of dragons that you mentioned is effective here just because there's not enough fairy types to go around for everyone this time. So you had to pick a good one, and I don't think everyone got their ideal fairy type.
Well, hopefully we're all a little bit more keen to the strategies of Luck, so we can all kind of give him a hard time. That's the whole goal here. We want to give this guy a hard time because he has just ran through this Discord in the last 2 seasons. I wasn't there for season 1, but after seeing that he went absolutely undefeated in that first season, regardless of whatever you think the draft was, right?
That draft was something that we don't want to talk about on camera.
He went into season 2. He lost his first match, and that record was broken. And then he was able to, yeah, you're welcome, right? And he was able to get another loss in an unfortunate freeze freeze hacks. I mean, that slowed down some his engine, and those were his only losses. He continued to body everybody in the entire draft, and that's all there is to it. He is incredible. We all want to beat him. Hopefully we do. Somebody who wants this a lot is somebody who started not too long ago. He started the exact opposite of Logan. He is our number 2 in this draft, or on our X rank, right? He was number 12 in the draft pick, also getting a wheel pick like Logan did. And he, like I said, went 0-6 in his first season. And unlike Logan, the exact mirror experience, he broke the curse, winning his week 1 of season 2, and proceeded to work his way up into the top 4, being one of the finalists of the entire draft league, and now having the 2nd ranking draft in the entire Rpdl by all of our opinions. I cannot understate how awesome that story is. Give it up for Q and the Wasabi Woopers coming in. Like I said, he had 4th place in the 2nd season after coming off a complete and total shutout loss in the 1st season of 0-6. And he starts the draft off with really unorthodox walking wake first pick, right? Into Ogerpon Hearthflame as well. Then picking up Jirachi and Okidogi. Okidogi?
Yeah.
Okidogi,
right?
Yeah.
Then getting another Ancient Mon in Sandy Shocks, and then finally unveiling the strategy of his team in picking up Torkoal. Then immediately going into a late Chiyu pick somehow, right? 3 seasons, or 2 seasons now, guys. 2 seasons now where you let Chiyu go late, right?
Whoa.
2 seasons now. First season also Chiyu went late, right? Getting a Terra Captain in Venusaur. That's disgusting. And another Terra Captain in Drifloon, and then finishing the draft with Quagsire and one of my personal favorite grass Pokemon, Whimsicott.
Me here, sitting here.
an insane draft, from an insane player, somebody who's rapidly getting faster. It's so scary. What do we all hope to see from Q this time?
I mean, he's a Magic player first and foremost. He is good at strategy. The problem is with Pokemon, if you give someone enough time, he's gonna figure this out, and I think he already has for the most part. Before we even get into his draft strategy was really smart. Having Torkoal in the middle pick is really important, so you don't give it away. So that way you're securing certain picks that you don't really get sniped in that way. And because you have the 12th pick, having the double mon option is great. The fact that he got Venusaur, the best chlorophyll abuser for Sun teams, with a Terra option, that's scary. Walking Wake, Hydro Steam, pretty much Torkoal's going to come out, he's going to switch to a Sun abuser, and you better be able to take the hit. And even with adequate prep, you might only be able to take it once or twice. Like, this team is built to steamroll. Excellent support options in Whimsicott. It's fast. It also gets chlorophyll, so if you want to just forego Prankster to mitigate the dark type weakness, you can hit everything. It's so good. He really thought this through. Chiyu late pick, like I said, it was smart because he had a Torkoal in the middle, so no one really cared about Chiyu, and now they have to. That thing comes in, hits an overheat, the usual things it does. It might Nasty Plot, it might Dark Pulse. It's going to hit you hard. I know he had to pick Quagsire. There's no way he's going to draft without his sons. One of his sons, at the very least.
You have to get the mascot.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How come Quagsire doesn't?
Oh, Woopers the mascot.
Ah.
The pappy, you know what I mean? It's still
Yeah.
within the family, you know?
Evolution change right there.
Yeah, whatever. It fucking evolves.
Oh,
It's great. I mean, Unaware is always good for people that are trying to boost on you. It can recover. It can set up hazards. It's a nice flexible wall, and the typing's good too. No volt switches on you. Okie dokie. If Venusaur ever doesn't work out, Okie dokie Terra is insane. It hits hard. Great physical wall. Relevant abilities. I have seen Guard Dog get away with some craziness in draft before, so don't always be sleeping on that. And Drifbloom as a Terra Captain, which, funny enough, it gets unburdened. So if for some reason the Sun team hasn't wiped out everything, Drifbloom will. And everything should be soft enough to where it can do that. So overall, very, very well-built Sun Hyper Offense draft. And yeah, there's a reason why it's number 2 in the X Factor ranking. Like, people are scared of this draft.
Also want to quickly mention something about Sandy Shocks. Do not sleep on Sandy Shocks. That mon is not bad.
Oh, it's a Pokemon that you have experience with because you played it last season.
Yes, I do have experience with some Sandy Shocks. Being a ground type that baits in other ground types is actually really valuable. It's like everyone wants to come in on the volt switches and stuff, but then like Sandy Shocks also has a very respectable special attack stat and can catch some other Pokemon like super off guard with like Earth Power. It can set up rocks. It can set up spikes. It can do a lot, but I think for this draft specifically, baiting in the other ground types is super key.
That's a good point. And do you know what's crazy about this? All the mons we mentioned for the Sun team already sound insane, but there's still an Ogerpon Hearthflame.
Yeah, we didn't even cover the fact that there's a Mold
exactly.
Breaker Ogerpon Hearthflame that gets fire boosted attacks in the Sun. Like what are we doing here?
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
And it packs the best, in my opinion, the best Ogerpon ability of Mold Breaker. So good. So good. It just takes away another option. And Sun boosted Agriculture, like you said, it's a killer. It gets great coverage. It Leech Seed, Play Rough, like it does a lot. It can pivot. Oh my god. Yeah. And also I forgot Jirachi. That thing's gonna hit Thunder Wave.
I'm not looking forward to going against Jirachi.
It's gonna hit Thunder Wave, it's gonna make you feel bad. And it's gonna
hit
buy
Iron Head.
Yeah. And it lets on a really lucky turn, it sets up the Torkoal to come back, give another 5 to 8 turns of Sun, and just rinse and repeat. Like you're on a timer.
I also want to note something else about Drifblim that is not mentioned. Strength Sap is a move on that Pokemon. Debilitating attack, like physical attackers, and keeping itself alive is so good.
It's a good draft. I think it's a really solid draft. Really good Sun team with a lot of diverse options where it can still operate without the Sun, and that's very important when you're going into drafts. I think Hugh did his homework. I think he's well studied. I think he is going to go for the crown this season, which would end his Cinderella season trilogy. And honestly, I'm here for it. If he gets that shit, respect, right? Like that'd be one of the best ways to close out the third season of the entire league, in my opinion. I'm a big rooting for him. We're also going to be rooting for him maybe today. Maybe you guys watching can also root for him today. You have been with us for the last hour and a half. I want to thank you. Right, we're going to get to this last discussion of the #1 X Factor pick, and then afterwards we're going to be seeing a live match go on between Q and JM13. It's the week 1 of the Rpdl season 3, and we'll be able to see like I said, the Wasabi Woopers go against the Keystone Klefkis. So you'll see that right after this analysis right here. They're just getting loaded up in their little match lobby at the moment. But we're going to transition to the last of the draft picks here in our #1. And before we get into that, I also wanted to let you guys know that everything that's going on in terms of this production is completely out of my own need to build a resume. You see, I'm trying to get into more broadcast engineering work. I have a lot of experience. However, showcasing that experience is very competitive. It's very difficult. So I wanted to have some at-home practice. I don't game nearly as much as I used to. I spend about 3 hours a week in gaming, and all of that time is spent doing the Rpdl. I'm just playing these Pokemon with my 30-year-old friends whenever we have the time, and then I'm on the daily grind to self-improvement and building my career. This is one of those things in order to kind of segue from one career to the other in broadcasting. So if you guys like what you see, thank you very much. I appreciate it. If you have any criticism, I also thank you, because I kind of need it. And I also want to give a quick shout out to the Rpdl guys for bearing with me, allowing the schedule to be made up around my needs and my wants so I can practice these things and still not be so intrusive, or try to not be so intrusive to the actual league play. So thank you guys very much. Without further ado, we will present the #1 X Factor pick in the entire Rpdl, and I have to say I am a little humbled by the popular opinion. The San Diego Hoopadres, who were formerly the Baja Blastoise, have quite the facelift, coached by yours truly. I have an X rank of #1 with a 2.1 average vote, which is pretty insane. The draft started with Iron Valiant and Roaring Moon coming from the #4 draft pick, into Goldengo and Weavile, also being supported by Gliscor, Talonflame, and Tentacruel, dipping into the Terra Captains of, and this is a triple whammy Terra Captain draft, in Hisuian Electrode, Articuno, and Hoopa, and then rounding out the draft with another 8 points spent on Conkeldurr. I finished the season 2 of the Rpdl win 7th place, right? With a 3-win, 3-loss record and 2 forfeits, which qualified as differential losses in that league. And yet I still finished the season with the only positive record out of every competitor on the 2-time champion in Logan. It was a pretty hard fought battle, ending up in 7th place in season 2 of the Rpdl. It was shocking to me. The differentials it really did make all the difference. I have a higher record than some people who placed above me, but that just goes to show that all my matches were just close. I couldn't really overwhelm anybody in my season 1, which is why I got the 7th place finish. And this season, I can speak for myself and say I am not trying to be a slouch this season. I really am trying to make a difference, and I drafted with that intention. To our analysts, what do you guys have to say about the draft?
Fuck you.
Yeah. I mean, you couldn't have said that more clearly, because last season, I know that you haven't drafted in a while, so you didn't realize how absurd the power levels had gotten in latest gens. And right off the bat, Iron Valiant, Roaring Moon, Goldengo. Come on, man. You know that's good. That is a terrifying trio. And I know you're behind the screen going, yeah, I got it.
I don't know how you got all 3 of those. That is. I can't believe you got all 3 of those.
I mean, that's tough to deal with on its own. You have Gliscor. Gliscor's good at doing one thing. It stalls out, it scouts, it heals. And it dodges Earthquake. Nothing's good. Weavile's fast. It's fast and annoying. Hits hard. I like Tentacruel as a nice bulky water option. The Hoopa, the graphics sick.
I don't know what happened. My end was glitching. I'm sorry. I just talked about me practicing production. There's the practice. Anyway, go ahead. Keep talking.
Ooh, got me looped around.
Yeah,
But I mean, Hoopa's a great pick. That being a Terra Captain is really scary. That it has great stats, great offensive stats, and being able to patch up the type weakness is really nice. Talonflame, really good support mon here. Gale Wings is always a threat, but at the same time, it sets up Tailwind, and it can take some hits. Flame Body is never something to be slept on either. You might just cripple your physical attacker. And against this team, you want to keep everything you can get. Really fast support here from Hisuian Electrode. I'm not sure it gets Strength Sap. I'm pretty sure this is just a Leaf Seed mon, but it is blisteringly fast. It's a pretty good Electric type. And giving it Terra, really nice mon. It can be a good revenge killer as well. Conkeldurr, and this is thanks to Gert, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight. This thing is a Mach Punch throwing monster. It is going to be Guts, Flame Orb, and you better have an option. It's fast. It doesn't need to be fast because it's going to hit you so hard. And the other Sheer Force set isn't anything to be slept on either. That's going to hit you with some nasty knockoffs. And it's bulky. Very good option. An unfortunate snipe. You took my Articuno. Really wanted that with a Snowscape. But, dude, it's it's solid. I think it was 3 points this season. And for that, you get a fantastic Terra Captain. You lose the horrible defensive typing for it. And in exchange, you get a bird that can set up screens. It doesn't have bad stats either. Like, it's a legendary at the end of the day. So its base stat total is, for its cost, very well praised. And Terra and Boot, super nice. I don't want to prep for this. I'm really thankful you're not my week 1. I'm glad that Rai has to deal with you. So I get to see what he tries to bring because at the moment, I can't. It's gonna be hard to beat this team. I don't really see a clear weakness.
This team is scary, so if there's one to prep it right now, I believe he's top 3 in the draft. I think that's one of the 3 best teams. So if I was gonna play anybody, that's gonna scare me, it's definitely Rice.
It's gonna be a good game too. Like, can't wait.
Go ahead, Cam, with anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I was just looking at my notes, and I had one particular note for you. It says, in all caps, "Why did I leave Hoopa at 5 points LMFAO?" No, but seriously, excellent picks all around. Jay actually kind of covered everything I wanted to talk about. I was going to mention that Articuno with Terra, it becomes surprisingly super tanky and supports the team very, very well. And Hoopa with Terra is just just disgusting. The Conkeldurr stuff was really good. I don't think we talked about that piece of shit Gliscor enough, because I think that thing is going to be showing up to almost every game. Yeah. It's so incredibly good. And Weavile just being super fast and killing things as a revenge killer. I had experience with that Pokemon as well. I drafted a Zero or a Weavile offensive core once in Gen 8. That was super fun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is easily, for me, I saw this as the best draft in the entire league.
Yeah, definitely a nice factor 1 for me. Just too many threats to ignore.
It's just everything's a threat. Everything's a threat.
Thank you. I'm pretty proud of this draft. My goal was to get a strong offensive DFS core, and I got my dream core somehow, some way. I was number 4 in the draft order, so getting Iron Valiant was not my first pick. Actually, I really wanted Gouging Fire, and it was immediately picked up. Right. So I've had 3 other draft plans just in case, and I landed on my second most wanted pick, which ended up being Iron Valiant. And then somehow, no one picked up Roaring Moon after, which I picked up. And then I immediately got Gorbengo, which rounded out that DFS core that I really wanted. So I'm pretty excited to play against all of you with it now that I'm able to draft. So in the Season 2 of the Rpdl, I joined in after the draft, and so Cam allowed me to come in because he's like, "Yeah, you said you were interested, and you didn't know, so come, just pick Pokemon."
Plus, I needed an 8th person to round us out.
And I was there, so I was able to pick up, I think, a pretty solid draft, and with that draft, I became one of the top kill leaders in the entire league, and that was when people started saying, "I can't wait for you to sit down and actually draft," and I did. In it was
Yeah,
fun.
look at it.
Look what happened.
Well, yeah, look what happened.
Yeah, and,
And
that was,
look what happened.
so
Because you
I
beat
am
the
flat.
champ. You beat the champ on a patchwork team. Imagine a real team.
Bro literally came
yeah.
in with his Texas Roadhouse leftovers.
Bro, the bread goes crazy no matter how long it's been sitting in the fridge.
That's fact. That's cinnamon butter. That's cinnamon butter be you turning onto every one of my
Are
plates.
fucking sick. And speaking of rolls, let's go see how those damage rolls are going to do in our upcoming game. We are about to see a match between Q and Jordan. That is the Keystone Klefkis versus the Wasabi Woopers. I want to thank you guys all for our draft analysis. Let us know what you think of the draft order if you are just tuning in. And hopefully you can stick with us for the next 12 weeks of the Rpdl Season 3. We're going to get into this first match right now. But before we do you guys have any predictions on what we're going to see as I give them the okay to start their match?
I think we're going to be seeing the sun.
Yeah,
Seeing the sun.
We just talked about how Jordan's team is defensive. I hope it can take the sun boosted moves. Because that Manaphy and Darkrai, it's gonna be clear a lot. Oh, and Glamora as well. It's gonna try a lot, but we'll have to see. Jordan hasn't played in a while, and I know Q's been putting a lot of practice in, so it'll be an interesting match.
I think we're gonna have a lot of fun. All right, so now that I just got the word that they're ready to go, without further ado, we are going to get into this match between the Keystone Klefkis and the Wasabi Woopers. First match of the entire league. You guys can take it away.
All right, what are we looking at here? I got Torkoal, Walking Wake, Venusaur, Okidogi, Ogerpon, Hearthflame, Chi-Yu. Yeah, this seems pretty standard cube right here. And then we got Glamora, DOD, Heatran, Rhyperior, Blissey, and Rotom Wash. All right, let's see what we got going on.
Yeah, honestly, Jordan brought the best 6 that he could against this team.
Okay, so we got Okidogi versus Rhyperior here. I'm foreseeing either Terra or Switch from the Keystone Klefkis because that Okidogi is about a hit. Or a Click Bulk Up.
A little scary here. Let's see what Jordan does.
So I just want to point out some interesting team synergies that I'm seeing on board right now. We got 3 fire types on Q's team. Torkoal, Hearthflame, Chi-Yu. Hearthflame, fortunately, we got a Torkoal switch. Get the sun up. We got Terra Ground, Earthquake, dead. Oh
my God.
Okay. Wait a minute. Wait, that's crazy. Venusaur coming in. That means that if that's not Heat Rock Torkoal, this sun's only up for 4 turns, which means he has 4 turns to make something shake.
I'm surprised he did that. Especially just off the heat, no heat rock on that. I feel like you want to abuse as many turns as possible.
Well, I'm not sure if there's any Heat Rock on this, because it says 4 to 7 on the top. It could be Heat Rock. We're not sure yet. All right, we're going to see a growth, and because it's sunny, I think it does double. I think that's how that works. Terra Fire, Weather Ball, one-shotting TOD. Holy shit! All right, Heatran's coming in. That Flash Fire is going to say no to that Weather Ball real quick, but I know Venusaur has some good coverage options, so let's see if we're going to see anything here. Giga Drain to break the balloon. I like that. What is Heatran going to do? Stealth Rock. Okay, that's fine. So we also saw Life Orb, I believe, from Q, and Earth Power is just going to go ahead and clean up this Heatran. I think that was a Rotom Wash switch, low-key. This Venusaur is off to a fantastic start.
Yeah.
But the sun's gone, which means it's not slow anymore. Or, I mean, it's slow now and not fast anymore.
Yeah, and with the Fire Terror now, I think Jordan has some good options here.
Yeah, Rotom Wash can do something, like potentially Volt Switch out into Blissey and then, pivot around it a little bit, because I don't think you just want to bring in the Rotom Wash. Jordan's taking his time. It's only turn 5, by the way. Blissey coming in on turn 6.
So the Okidogi makes sense. Oh no, you know what happens? You know what happens to Q and paralysis?
Okay, okie dokies in. Thunderwave, yup. I think I'm behind a little bit. My internet connection's kind of weird.
It's not bad though. Switching to the Rotom Wash.
We see the Rotom Wash switch here. Knock off on the Rotom Wash.
Oh,
Rindleberry. Okay, he was definitely prepping for that Venusaur.
Yeah. I don't think he expected the Fire Terror then.
That was a good call on Q's part for sure. Alright, we're gonna Volt Switch out. This is a nice chunk to Okidogi.
Yeah, solid damage there.
Oh,
into the Glamora.
Okay, here's the Glamora. This is the Pokemon with the backpack, taking half its HP from a Drain Punch, setting up a Toxic Spike.
Those Toxic Spikes are dangerous. And the Power Gem, interesting option. Not doing much. Oh,
yeah.
And the paralysis.
Oh shit. Okay, that worked out for him. I don't know what the Power Gem was for. I think maybe he was predicting a switch of some sort, but
goes for it again.
He is going for it again.
Oh, whoa,
he's paralyzed again. It's just working out for him, I guess.
But we'll get paired with
Power Gem with a crit this time.
Oh, and Psychic Fangs.
And then we got the Psychic Fangs.
I think it did its job. It got Okidogi down low. It has 2 layers of Toxic Spikes up.
Rotom Wash can come in and Revenge Kill now, and now all this hazard is looking at you kind of crazy.
Yeah, the switches are gonna start to hurt.
Venusaur is no longer a poison type, which means it can't absorb the Toxic Spikes at the very least.
No,
this is not looking good.
And with the Life Orb, it's on an additional timer.
I still think Q is in a solid
25, right? Oh, with the Terra, the rocks do extra damage.
Yeah, Terra Fire making you weak to the rocks. And now you're poisoned. I don't know what's gonna go down here. Probably looking at a Giga Drain, if anything.
I wonder if it'll outspeed it without the sun. And it does not. The Hydro Pump will.
Hydro Pump. Oof,
wow.
Yeah.
Hasn't missed one yet. Good on that Rotom.
That Rotom's wearing extra thick glasses.
And when the sun's not out, you can pump. Teflon Khan. What a name.
So it's coming in. It's gonna get toxic. This threatens the hell out of it with Woodhammer.
Yeah. Problem is,
Rotom also threatens or something.
The Hydro Pump's gonna be neutral damage here.
But he definitely is not faster than this thing.
It's more so a matter of what can it get away with. What can it get away with if not a Hydro Pump? Because
it can definitely get away by going back into its Pokeball.
Oh, he's bold. He goes for the
damn! He went for the dance, but I think he stayed in Hydro Pump. He lived.
Wow! Oh my god! I don't know if that was a low roll.
Well, he only gets like one turn with this Ogerpon now, but
but the Horn Leech is a great bring. That should buy him at least an extra 2 turns.
It's like 1. Maybe 2, yeah, maybe.
Interesting Rhyperior you're bringing.
The Terra. Oh Jesus! Now this
on the
Ogerpon's
Terra.
Yeah, this Ogerpon's about to go crazy.
Yeah, with the Swords Dance, honestly, holding that physical bulk or not. Ooh, and the Blissey.
Blissey's like the only one left.
Oh, and the critical
crit. Honestly, the crit didn't matter. The Blissey has like 5 defense.
Wow.
Amazing. Wow. Q taking it pretty convincingly.
Ogerpon Hearthflame, it did not surprise. It was good. That shit was effective. Ivy Cudgel, oh my god.
Yeah, it was like just like generally solid gameplay.
What a battle.
Yeah, not really sure what was going on with that Glamora and the Power Gems, but definitely something to take into next week.
For sure. I feel like honestly, a Power or Meteor Beam set might have done well here. Pretty big rock weakness for some of his mons. Threatens the Ogerpon as well. But it's also tough to compete with that speed tier without the support. Because I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Still a good showing from both competitors, especially Jordan, who hasn't played Pokemon in a while, was able to get a few kills.
Yeah, I think he did. He did pretty solid. He had some good brings. I saw the Rindoberry on the wash, so that was. I mean, that's pretty fundamental at this point.
More discipline, maybe, on the Rhyperior. It was a little bit of a questionable Terra type. I mean, boosting the ground types, that was super cool, but then switching in on something that, maybe you could have held your ground a little bit more with Blissey coming in, but I mean, that Ogerpon was pretty set up, so Awesome stuff from the both of them. Hey, and with that is a taste of the Rpdl Season 3. We have had a really good time here, at least I have, listening to all the draft analysis that's been going on and being able to present this to you all. There is no solid schedule for our drafts or our streams just yet, but we'll be able to put those up, and for anybody who is interested, we'll probably heard from either Cam's Discords or Jay's friends or whoever. We'll be pushing out the news whenever we have more of these broadcasts going on. Guys, thank you so much for being here, being a part.
Thank you for hosting, man.
Yeah, seriously. All the work you put in. Thanks for letting us talk about Pokemon for over an hour.
It's been a good time. It's been a good time. And now, thank you for joining us for the last hour and a half, everybody. We're about to fizzle out of here and conclude this. We'll see you in the next one. And to not just my two co-hosts, but also to all my league, fellow league guys and friends and competitors. I'll see you in the ring. Gonna fuck you up. That's it.
Don't worry.
Gentlemen,
you won't dodge me this season.